Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. I'm Saxton, the Client Success Manager at Astanza Laser, and today I'm joined with Alan Pontious from Unbranded Austin. We're going to be going over kind of how Unbranded got started and how they've transformed over the past couple of years. So, Alan, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of give us, a rundown about yourself and Unbranded, that would be great.
Hi, yeah, sure. My name is Alan Pontious, and I've been a nurse here in the Central Texas area for 14 years, most of which have been in the field of hospice. For a number of those years, I did intake and work between direct patient care and handling the logistics from the branch office along with the marketing. So I also got to see a lot of the business management challenges that were behind the scenes. And now I work for Unbranded Austin, which is conveniently located off Mopac Expressway in Austin. It's a quaint little clinic in a quiet building operated by a staff of one, which is done under my nursing license. So the clients can feel that extra layer of professionalism that come with their service. And I do my utmost to ensure that the client feels comfortable and that their treatments will be consistent, because I'll be walking that journey with them the entire way. The clinical documentation is very thorough, and discretion is always respected, especially since I'm held to the standards of my highest license, which is nursing.
Awesome. Yeah. So you mentioned your nursing, your medical background a little bit. Can you maybe talk about how that has influenced your background with starting the business, and maybe how, what inspired you to get into laser tattoo removal?
Yeah, I made a decision just over 3 years ago that I wanted to go into a business of my own, a much smaller business, doing something that I could have a whole lot of control over, and bringing that medical background and intake experience into that transition. I saw a need for the service of tattoo removal, because in recent years the trend of getting a tattoo has gone way up, and as I've seen in people that are close to me, and inevitably those same people are finding much regret with those decisions, and they're in desperate need for this service. And of course, how cool is it to come to work and get to play with lasers all day?
Right.
But going back on my medical background, probably one of the roles that I felt I really excelled as a nurse was being a teacher, guiding my patients, or the families in the case of hospice, on what they can expect to follow, and how they can continue to play a role in their own care.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that background. So now you said you've been in here for about 3 years at Unbranded. What specific challenges have you encountered since, getting into the laser tattoo removal industry, and how have you been able to overcome those challenges to build such a successful business?
A specific challenge I've encountered is accepting that this gig is not an exact science. We still have a lot to learn as a community about the techniques that are being employed for laser tattoo removal. There are a limited number of controlled studies available, mostly because the clients who participate in those studies, they got their inks injected from sources that aren't necessarily familiar to the researchers. None of the tattoo artists work under laboratory conditions, and there's a lot of variables with their injection techniques and whatever concoction that they're using. We just don't know all those variables, and one way that we overcome this, not just me, but we as in the tattoo removal community, and that's by networking with one another, and this goes around the world. I stay in touch with practitioners just as much in Europe as we do in the United States and New Zealand as well. Um, we basically share our observations and our trials and errors with one another, and those discussions, they maintain a progressive understanding of the challenges and solutions with laser tattoo removal. And of course, we must manage these expectations with our clients and let them know that it's something that's going to take. Sometimes it's going to take more sessions or more time than what was originally predicted.
It's nice to hear how you've been able to overcome those specific challenges for your business. So, can you maybe speak a little bit more about how you've been able to continue your education and professional development for at Unbranded Austin?
I strongly urge anyone in this field to learn about the science. The information is always being updated, and as someone in this field, I have an obligation to the knowledge necessary to give the best treatments that I can. Especially as a nurse, I have to keep my license updated with my own set of continuing education hours, but that's really just a formality. The real education is staying curious and always asking questions of your peers, not being afraid to ask for help. Earlier this year, I attended a master class in Glasgow, Scotland, held by Mike Murphy of Dermalays. He's been a veteran of a variety of light and laser therapies, mostly in the laboratory since I want to say the 1980s. I got his book here actually. It's got a few of these. I don't know if you can see that with the glare, but
Yeah.
it's an introduction to medical aesthetic lasers and IPL systems by Michael J. Murphy. And there's a lot of good information in here. I don't know if you can see that QR code right there, but that might be worth a scan. I think you can get this book on online. And in fact, I found that the book was easier to work with online because there was a lot of interactive links and little videos that I found helpful. But anyway, I couldn't recommend a better instructor for keeping up with your tattoo removal education. Even though there's a lot of science involved, the information is very illustrative. But again, that's Mike Murphy with Dermalays.
We're always open to new resources to share with people to continue their own education and professional development as well. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Alan, if you could maybe describe the atmosphere of Unbranded and share what potential clients can expect when they're coming in to get their laser tattoo removal treatments.
Yeah, I've got a small office up here in an older, kind of inconspicuous office building, and it's got offices leased out to other professionals, small business owners. Most of them don't even have on-site clients so the building stays quiet. There's no traffic or noisy crowds, so the clients can enjoy a reasonable amount of privacy, really all the way from the parking lot until they enter my door. Reception area is really small, but it's kind of a relaxing sort of mid-century atomic era vibe, dimly lit, kind of like a quaint lounge, minus the cigarette smoke. The treatment room itself is bright, kind of like you'd expect a clinic to be. During the appointment, I do all that I can to help the client understand that and feel that they're being taken care of. Again, we discuss management of expectations. I give them a chance to ask questions about anything. I don't sugarcoat any of the challenges I might expect. We talk about how the procedure is going to play out and how much time it'll take. And since I'm the only staff member that they're interacting with, I keep in touch with them personally on my cell phone. Most of it's text messaging, but from the moment they make their first contact with me, I'm interacting with them from my personal phone. One of these days that might change, but all new business owners really should be willing to do that.
Yeah. And I love your logo, by the way, in the background. Was
there
something that kind of inspired that?
I kind of just got on this mid-century atomic vibe. The allure of that uh, retro-futuristic hope and dazzle for uh, what will come in the future with lasers and rocket ships and flying cars. And I really like that culture. It's an aspiration that I still kind of cling on to for humanity. And I feel like, when you get to go into work and play with lasers all day, you're kind of keeping on with that momentum. And in a way, and this is not something to sound like anti-tattoo in a way, because we're not anti-tattoo here at Unbranded Austin. Just in fact, a lot of my clients are tattoo enthusiasts that come in for modifications. But in a way, it kind of gives that sense of the time where you didn't have any of the tattoos, and nothing was branded. People weren't branded as much, and this kind of gives that aura of a time that used to be. In your case, you're coming in to have a tattoo removed. You're aspiring towards a retroactive look of what your skin was before you got branded. So that's kind of how it all ties in, and the little orbits and the starburst. It just kind of rides on with that momentum um, of the future, the retro-futuristic uh, allure that my clients may share with me on that.
Thanks for sharing that. I also like that you spoke about how you're not anti-tattoo, which is really important, especially in the laser tattoo removal industry. People
Right.
kind of tend to have that thought of people who are in this, that we're anti-tattoo. We just want to get rid of tattoos. But really, laser tattoo removal and tattoos, they go better together. And that's our belief. So it's great to hear from you as well. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, a lot of my clients, I'd have to say most of my clients really are still getting new work put on, and they just, maybe for whatever reason, they didn't like what they had to begin with, or if they want to get those cover-ups. Yeah, tattoos or culture is not going away, but there's always going to be regret, and that's where we're here to help.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Alan, now could you maybe talk about any community involvement or partnerships that Unbranded Austin has established to support the local community or raise awareness maybe about laser tattoo removal?
Shortly after I started Unbranded Austin, I partnered with the Austin Wildlife Rescue to hold campaigns to reward donors with free laser sessions. They're a wonderful organization that stays really busy by taking in and treating injured wild animals that are found by Good Samaritans here in the Austin area. A few times I had encountered some animals that I didn't know how to help, even with my medical background. And I was just grateful for their clinic, that they were able to provide the veterinary care that they needed. Their clinic I believe, is completely grant and donor funded. So I just want to be able to continue showing my gratitude to them by incentivizing their donors with free laser sessions.
Now, you kind of mentioned before, building those relationships with your community as well as your clients. And you spoke a little bit, about educating them on laser tattoo removal. Is there any other way that you prioritize building and maintaining those strong relationships with clients to foster trust and loyalty?
Right out the gate, um, just be very prompt in your introduction and what you can do for them, or what you can't do for them. A lot of sales and business advisors might disagree with me on this, but just be upfront with the price. It's the very first text that I send to my clients, or the leads, provided that I have enough information about their tattoo. Don't apply high pressure sales. Don't make any uh, drastic cost reductions just to get them in the door. I, if I don't feel that they're terribly interested, I can pick up on that quickly. I usually give them enough room and time to think things over, because these are big decisions, and
Yeah.
I respect their time and their trust in me. And but probably at the most, I'll leave them with some reasons as to why they should choose me over the competition. Furthermore, I don't require packages. Nearly all my clients are pay as you go. And of course, like I touched on earlier, I'm upfront with managing expectations, but most of all, I'm very generous with the cryo. Yeah, that's because I know they appreciate that. So it's probably, yeah, they probably have to vote on the cryo on that.
Nice. Yeah, I know people are loving on the cryo.
Be very unpopular if doing this without that degree of numbing. Yeah,
Right. And the technology, like having that technology makes a big difference. Not only for the clients, but actually getting people to come into your clinic as well. There's so many stigmas around the technology. You know, back in the day, it was not as advanced as it is now. So there was a lot of scarring, a lot of hurting people, and a lot of, you know, bad things that came along with the technology. But with those advancements now, we have the cryo and we have numbing solutions to make the experience much better for each client coming in. So yeah, that's great. Thanks for
absolutely.
saying that. Speaking of technology, you recently paid off your laser machine with Astanza. That's great to hear. I would love
Thank you.
to know a little bit more about what the future looks like now for Unbranded Austin.
Well, I'm happy to say, even though the traction's been slow, it's on the up and up. Yeah, like you mentioned, we just became solvent last month after the 3-year lease on the duality laser, and now I can focus a little bit more on the marketing efforts and uh, letting people know more about the availability of tattoo removal as well as the adjunct therapies that we can do with the duality. And then maybe after that, I can bring someone on board who cares as much about serving the client's needs as I do.
Yeah, awesome. That would be great if you did. Yeah, just keep growing and growing and growing. That's what we like to hear. So, as the owner, you know, what values or principles do you believe have been instrumental in the success and growth of Unbranded Austin?
I think what's been instrumental for my success so far is knowing how and when to take risks. Being excuse me, being miserly is the rule, but with just the right amount of risk and out gambles uh, on what I want to invest in as far as equipment or upgrades. Um, let's see, be patient with your growth and don't try to be an overnight success. The slowest growth hurts the least and it yields the best results. It's kind of like going to the gym. You want to start with the little weights, even though it's easy to do. Um, Keeping your self-respect by not allowing yourself to be taken too much advantage of. Um, Knowing when to let go of a client, unfortunately. It's an example of that. Like I mentioned earlier, uh, staying curious and hungry for knowledge. Become You'll need to become that expert that your clients believe you to be. Um, I mean, I could probably write a whole essay on the virtues of running a small business, and I'm sure I'll think of more stuff here after the interview. But if I could put maybe one principle above all, I'd say don't worry so much about the competition. Just aspire to be better than you were yesterday. Be honest with your clients. Be honest with yourself. Do your best, um, and don't worry about the competition because the clients will find you.
It's great to see once again how much you guys have grown within the past 3 years. So I know you are really, you know, sticking to those values and you live by that. And it shows in your success and your growth over the past couple of years. And I know that growth will just continue to come as you guys continue. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited.
me too. Yeah. And we're so excited that you guys chose to work with Astanza and that we've been able to have this relationship over the past few years. And once again, can't wait to see you know, where you guys go from here.
Yeah,
But
I've really enjoyed my relationship with Astanza Laser. No regrets. I know there were lots of options out there, and I definitely uh, I I got lucky signing on with you guys. There was a lot of good wisdom that was shared with me from the beginning, not just about the lasers, but about uh, the business startup, and y'all really went above and beyond what I think other laser vendors would have done. I'm very sure of that.
What, like I told you before this interview, I've only heard good things about Unbranded and about you. So it's great to once again put a face to the name and be able to share your story with other people and show them that this does work, and that you know, we're also here for you and whatever you need, and helping you get started and grow. And yeah, and I love to hear the continual education as well. Obviously, we've got New Look Laser College at Astanza, but hearing
Mhm.
how you are actually going above and beyond to find other resources for yourself and for others in the laser industry, that's awesome to hear. So yeah. I guess that brings us to the end of our interview today. If you guys are in the Austin area looking for laser tattoo removal, definitely be sure to check out Unbranded Austin Laser Tattoo Removal with Alan Pontious. Thank you again so much, Alan, for joining us today to kind of share how you guys got started and how you've transformed over the past couple of years.
Thank you, Sexton. It was nice talking with you.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you too.